Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Welcome back to the Viva Coach Experience and to tonight's podcast. I am the Viva Coach, your life coach for women and business coach for all. And tonight's episode is a really special one. It's about mastering the art of effective negotiation, a critical skill, I think, in business, career, and everyday life. And I'm so excited to have Maddy.VR with us here tonight as an expert in navigating high-stake conversations and achieving win-win outcomes. Maddy, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Viva. It's a pleasure with you, darling. I appreciate you for having me.
Oh, awesome. Look, this is going to be amazing, I think. Before we make a start, Maddy.VR is a very familiar name in this space. Maddy has been sort of, a colleague. Maddy's been a friend. Maddy's been someone I've collaborated with. And I know many of you have too. So Maddy.VR is not a new name in this space, but I don't know if many of you know that Maddy in her real life works as business development in a leadership position. And that means a lot of negotiation a lot of the time, Maddy. Am I right?
That is absolutely right. Every single day. Every single day.
So it's your second nature, basically.
It really is. I'm
Yeah.
excited to talk about it because, I don't talk about it very often. And I think this will be the first time more of what I do in my IRL business day to day with the VR community.
Awesome. Well, let's start there then. Tell everyone in the room today, those listening into the podcast or those that might be tuning in later, who is Maddy? What do you do in this space, as well as what do you do in real life, and how are you connected in with the world of negotiation?
Excellent. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Maddy Simmons. You know me as Maddy.VR. I have 24 years of experience as a seasoned business development specialist. I've worked extensively as an advisor in health and fitness, education, and business strategy. Currently, I'm the regional vice president for the largest full development resource firm in the USA. I meet with 3 to 8 business owners daily, Monday through Friday, to negotiate partnerships that will help them drive their core initiatives.
Wow, that's amazing. I
Thank
think there's a
you.
lot to unpack there, Maddy, and we're gonna. Um, why don't we just start with what does effective negotiation means to you?
Yeah. So I was so excited to dive into this because negotiating is a natural and skilled tool.
Mm-hmm,
Negotiating is a natural tool because we use it all the time, whether we realize it or not. Like when we compromise with our friends or make decisions at work with our
mm-hmm,
kids. However, becoming skilled at it takes practice.
mm-hmm,
And, a skilled negotiator listens carefully, stays calm, knows how to present their ideas in a way that benefits both sides. It's a
mm-hmm,
mix of something we naturally do and something that we can get better at with experience.
mm-hmm,
So, um, effective negotiation for me means first preparation,
mm-hmm,
active listening, clear communication, problem solving, flexibility and compromise, emotional control, and it having a win-win outcome.
yeah, yeah. There's a
Hmm.
lot that you've said there, which let us go back to sort of number of
Yes.
those points as well. But let me sort of go back to one of the first things that you said, Maddy, which
Right.
was, it's something we do in our everyday life. Yet, when we actively think about negotiation, we often face the the whole idea with the confidence in negotiation. It becomes
Yes.
something that we kind of start thinking extremely consciously about. And
Mm.
it's often a skill that people say, oh, I'm not a good negotiator, or oh gosh, I have to negotiate. What does that mean? Even though we say we do it in everyday life. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So, um, you know, like I mentioned before, I want to go back on this. Negotiating well every day helps you get better with results, avoiding conflicts. You build stronger relationships. It saves time, it improves communication, and it makes you more confident in handling different situations.
Mm-hmm,
Um, you asked more about confidence, and is that your
Mm-hmm.
question, you asked more about confidence
Yeah,
in
because
that.
often people can feel quite intimidated, right? When they actively and consciously think about, oh, I'm in a position where I need to go in and negotiate. And the more you think about that consciously, I think the more the confidence plays in. So
You're
your
absolutely
thoughts
right.
and yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that confidence comes with preparation. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
I feel that not only do you have to know what you're asking for in negotiation, but you have to be willing to read the room. You have to be willing
Yeah.
to read the opposing party or the other party. And I think what ends up happening is um, people get intimidated with that. But if you're prepared, you can do really well. There are
Mm-hmm.
nonverbal cues and
Mm-hmm.
body language and facial
Yeah.
expressions and tone of voice. They reveal more than words sometimes.
Yeah.
And when you're on a call, you can actually actively listen and hear some of those things as well.
Yeah.
Adapting your strategy, you know, if you sense resistance or hesitation, adjust your approach in real time.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that. So preparation will help you do that as well. Go into to all different types of clients, every niche market that you can
Yeah.
possibly think of. You know, gas, oil, lumber, metal, some of
Mm-hmm.
the major companies that help run this country. So you just have to be prepared, and make sure that you don't just go in completely cold or straight to the point.
Yeah.
Build a little rapport. Let them know that you're human. Let them know that, you know, you see them as a person. And I
Mm-hmm.
went into a client just yesterday, and you know, he had years and years. He was 70 something years old, and he had years of military memorabilia. He flew
Mm-hmm.
airplanes, and now he runs this really successful company that he had me come in to talk about a
Mm-hmm.
possible exit strategy and sale of.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, before we jumped all into that, I wanted to just say, sir, I served a very short time. Let
Mm-hmm.
me add, but I respect what you've done. Thank you for serving the country. Look at these medals. And I put my hands on
Mm-hmm.
the medals. And he was like, yeah, and that one right there, that one, it ended up being the best negotiation because
Mm-hmm.
he liked the personal approach.
Yeah.
I feel like when you go in there confident, but also prepared, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it'll help you with that confidence.
And connecting on that human level is so important, which
It
is exactly
is.
what you've done there, right? And having
Yes.
genuine interest. And it's very similar for me as well. As a management consultant, I may specialize in one industry, but actually I work with clients across different sectors.
Yes.
I'm not a specialist in all those sectors, but
That's
what I
right.
can bring is the skills around transformation, skills around implementation, execution, strategy, which my clients really sort of appreciate.
That's
And
right.
that's where the credibility comes from, right? So connecting with them in terms of what you can really be genuine about with them is really important. And you clearly used your own personal experience to be able to build that rapport with your client to be able to
Yes.
then take those conversations forward. Now, a couple of things that you said, Maddie. One was around win-win. We'll come back to
Mm-hmm.
that. And one was
Mm-hmm.
around active listening. The
Yes.
other sort of, if you like, another way I talk about this in negotiation is silence negotiate. Silence in negotiation. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I also find that often, even when you're prepared, you go in. Sometimes you can prepare yourself so much that you go in and you know yourself through that negotiation,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't necessarily allow you to come into a space where you're actively listening to what the other party is saying, because you're the kind of thinking through, I need to cover this, I want to make sure I say this, I want to ensure that this is heard. How do you work with the idea of active listening? How do you consciously apply that, and how do you use silence in negotiation?
That's really that's a lot in that question. And you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to first say, staying calm and patient. Emotional control is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let anyone's attitude provoke you. Remaining calm shows strength. It
Mm-hmm.
helps prevent escalation. If emotions flare, the conversation can derail pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You want to understand, you know, the person's perspective. So try
Mm-hmm.
to understand, if they are being difficult, is it because of something specific they want or need? Actions like, can you help me understand those concerns? Or,
Mm-hmm.
acknowledging their frustration if there's something that they're frustrated about, and reframing the conversation. Shift the focus away from conflict towards shared goals, and highlight where you both stand to gain from a
Mm-hmm.
cooperative resolution. Use positive language to keep the dialogue constructive, and encourage them to see negotiation as a partnership, not as a battle of something.
Yeah, yeah. And that goes back to sort of what he was talking about, sort of win-win situation, right? That's
Yes.
really important part of that strategy. But if the conversation has now derailed, you've
Hmm.
tried all the different strategies that you've just talked
Oh,
about there,
yeah.
Maddie.
Oh, yeah.
At that point, what is going on through your mind?
Yes. So, sometimes it's okay to walk away, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the negotiation doesn't go in your favor, or sometimes you don't get your key points the way that you should.
Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? Do you go back to it? Do you just put a line under it? Just share from your own personal experience, because if you're dealing with negotiation day in day out, like you say, some days you win with it, some days you kind of
Right.
add a
Right.
layer of sort of let's come back to this. Some days you might say, actually, this is what it was meant to be, this is
Yeah.
not a partnership you can take forward. How do you tend to deal with that? Use some of the real life examples that you've dealt with, Maddie, and share some of
Absolutely.
your sort of gems here tonight.
We absolutely love the win-win situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those, you go into a negotiation and you have an agenda to have a win-win situation. With what I do every single day, I love it because I feel like I'm really helping people in their businesses, and I see it all. So I don't know sometimes what some of the underlying challenges that I might run into,
Mm-hmm.
but a win-win is making sure that I provide them with information so that we can have a solution for those underlying
Mm-hmm.
challenges. There was another part of your question that I wanted to address, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to forget it. So you asked about some of my real world
Yeah, some
situations.
real
So
examples. Yeah.
sometimes I can't even get into the door.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because how I work every single day, please come in, have a seat, everyone, have a seat. How I work every day is, I have a few business coordinators that will book me around the country.
Yeah.
I like to
Mm-hmm.
stay home in Oregon girls, but
Mm-hmm.
every once in a while I have to travel and I have to go meet clients around the country. Some of them are prospects, some of them are current clients, and some of them have worked with us before.
Mm-hmm.
And I get all different types of personalities, you can name it, and I see
Yeah.
all different walks of life, right? So one particular thing that I just thought of was I went to a company and I was outside and I just so happened to see the owner outside. And I can always tell an owner
Mm-hmm.
from, a worker. So I said, "Hi, are you, so and so, the owner of this company?" "Oh, yes, I am." "Hi, I'm Maddie, and my coordinator scheduled me here to meet with you today to talk about this and that." "No, I'm sorry, we're not interested." But
Mm-hmm.
we have a process where I work where, they make sure if they're sending me somewhere, because everywhere they send me costs money. If
Yeah.
they're sending me somewhere, we confirm that I'm supposed to be there with two different phone calls. We already have done the research on what we need to
Mm-hmm.
talk about. Business coordinator already talks to the client. So when I get
Mm-hmm.
there, I have an agenda, but you never know what you're running into. It might not
Yeah.
even be that the client wants to talk about. They might have some serious issues. Well, that
Mm-hmm.
particular client, he was like, "Sorry, nope, nope. I didn't say I wanted to see you guys. I'm good." And I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking to myself, how do I had to think really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
How do I approach this situation? And I said, I kind of did, I think, knowing me, I did a spin like, is it me? You know, if I said
Mm-hmm.
someone else, do you have a problem with me being here today? And he was like, oh, no, 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 that's not what it is. And he started to warm up a little bit, like he wanted
Mm-hmm.
to really show me, no, it's nothing that you might be assuming it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
I am really overwhelmed. I'm sorry. I made this
Yeah.
appointment. And sometimes you just have to walk away. So you never
Mm-hmm.
know. You never know what you might run into. And I think that's why, again, preparation, confidence,
Mm-hmm.
knowing your product, knowing that it's not for everybody, or, knowing
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
these conversations don't always land a win-win,
Mm-hmm.
but
But
then you,
that is still, though, the way that you left, I would say
yeah,
you
a
didn't
good
burn the bridges.
impression.
You can always go back to it. And I think the interaction that you had with that
Yes,
client would be quite memorable, actually. So when
it
you sort of,
is.
go back, you actually have a starting point there, right? So I think that's
That's
also
right.
really, really important. So please do note that, because I think negotiation is not just one skill. It is combination of so many skills at different levels and
That's
sets.
right.
One thing that you've talked about clearly is about communication. Another one you've talked about is relationship building. What other sub skills that you think are really important, Maddy, when it comes to negotiation, other than communication and relationship building?
Yes. So I think that being precise and
Mm-hmm.
concise is a great skill to have. Ask your ask and present yourself, ask your ask, and hope that the outcome is what you like. If not, be prepared to negotiate a better term.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I'd like to bring up is in the art of negotiation, first of all, the actual Webster definition of negotiation is discussion aimed at reaching an agreement.
Yeah.
That is proper
Mm-hmm.
negotiation and communication. But, there's also common myths or misconceptions. It's about winning versus losing. That's not ever what it is. Like what
No,
you just
no.
mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
that really needs to be spoken about. There is a
Mm-hmm.
huge role of psychology and emotion in negotiations. Manipulation is a whole nother deeper discussion with
Mm-hmm.
many, many layers that many people can use and have used in negotiation. And it's that negative part of the
Yeah.
negotiation. You don't want to
And that's not a
negotiate.
long-standing
Mhm.
partnership, right? Because when you're
That's
negotiating
right.
with your client, you don't want a short-term relationship. You want a long-term partnership, and that only
Yes.
comes with sort of, the win-win strategy that you've talked about
Yes.
having. And I think one other thing that you've talked about is, you've mentioned your coordinators a few times. Negotiation is a teamwork. It's not a solo
Yes.
game. And I
That's
think
right.
more than often we think we must do it all, whereas I think you should, in fact, be relying on what resources you have, what are the people you have, what are the connections you have in your network to be able to reach to a win-win negotiation with your one client or
That's
team of
right.
client, right? So,
Personally, I mean, in my own personal day to day, I've got people working on scheduling me all over the place. And,
hmm
I see 3 to 8 clients
hmm
a day.
hmm
That's an hour long or so conversation a
hmm
day with someone completely different than I walked into the moment before,
yeah.
you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm just going to take you back to sort of some of the early responses you gave me, Maddie. And you
Hmm.
talked about body language. You talked
Yes.
about sort of reading expressions. You talked about sort of, understanding those cues. Now, in the
Hmm.
world of metaverse, we are all avatars. And I know our avatars recently changed, woohoo. But, you know, it's not the same space, right? But we do deal with negotiation day in, day out. We are operating
Absolutely.
in a professional business environment where we are having conversations, where we are trying to reach agreements, we are creating win-win situations. How do you think we can, in absence of that real life body language, expressions, being able to read those cues, in absence of all of that in metaverse, how do you think we can reach those successful negotiations?
I've had the pleasure of working with some of the greatest minds in this space. I really
hmm
have. Some of
Some of them
them
are
I've
in this room.
some of them are in this room. Like my partner, the other half of the Billionaire Club, Tony Stark, we've been working together for years and we've
hmm
been negotiating partnerships in this space. You know,
Yeah.
Leroy, I've had the opportunity to work with him. He was the first person that brought, you know, Tony and I both into Horizon to do something. Rex Exec, you know, I've worked with him personally. And
Yeah.
so, you know, it's been a pleasure to work with some of these great minds. You actually can read an avatar like you
Mm-hmm.
read a person day to day. You can
Mm-hmm.
see their not, you don't need facial expressions. You can hear the cues and tones in their voice. You can
Mm-hmm.
see their body language with their hands, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I must say, G Deuce is another one that I've been working with for years. In fact, her and I, um, a long time ago, you know, we've negotiated partnerships and relationships with companies that are no longer existent. So not
Mm-hmm.
every partnership that you start will have an outcome that you want as well. You
Mm-hmm.
know, things like that. But you can read people, you can hear people, and
Yeah.
you know, it's great to use all of those different cues to be able to guide your
Yeah.
path.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. You can hear it in the voice, right? You can hear the
Mm-hmm.
tone, you can hear how they sort of, projecting themselves in that sense. And IRL metaverse, do you think the preparation for negotiation looks any different, or is that also something that's very similar?
You know, we're in such a faster pace environment in this metaverse. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what we do in the real world seems to be a lot slower than how quick we move in here.
Yeah.
And there's not much of a difference. I think that there's a shorter time to get things done and to make that a negotiation and to act on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what do you think about sort of operating in a professional capacity, because we are avatars, because it creates another sort of almost gives us a bit more of a freedom
Yeah.
to act in a way that we may or may not in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Just like on social media, we find that when we went into social media, people can often act out of their sort of normal professional ways,
Yeah.
right? And some of that must happen in metaverse as well. You've
Well,
been
it
through
sure
so many
happens with me.
negotiations. Yeah.
You know,
How do you deal with something like that, Maddy?
so in my day to day, you guys are just now, after these years of knowing me, you know, you guys are just now hearing like my professional background
Mm-hmm.
really in IRL. And I'm a story of that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, right there. Whereas, you know, I've come into the space and I'm just really here to have fun
Mm-hmm.
and figure it out and really figure out what I want to do by trial and error, because you know, in my day to day it's so systematic,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to go in and I have to be an emotional vessel
Mm-hmm.
for so many different business owners and businesses and think so quickly, and it's draining that when I
Mm-hmm.
come on here I want to while out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm starting to figure out more and more kind of where I really want to take that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why the Virtual Women Alliance, and we're focusing on
Mm-hmm.
TBC and all that stuff.
That's absolutely amazing. So, are we going to see more of Maddy as a business developer, as a sort of, someone
Absolutely.
who absolutely can master negotiation in this space as well, and share sort of some few skills and insights on that
Yes,
on a
girl.
more
That
regular
song,
basis?
She's Coming Now.
She is
I
here.
want
I
the
would
world
say
to
she is here.
know. You know
Yeah.
what? I'm going to be launching with Stark Approved. I'm going to be launching VR Vibes,
Yay.
and on there I'm going to be, you know, podcasting and talking about different relationships that we have in
Mm-hmm.
this space, different negotiations that we made, business in general. So
Awesome.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Look, Maddy, I've
girlfriend,
known
yes,
what you do
sister.
IRL for a very long time. So I'm super excited that you are actually going to
Thank
be
you. I wish
going
I
to
could
be
hold your
bringing
hand
most of
right
that.
now.
I
Thank
know, right?
you.
Oh, don't talk about hands and these new avatars. I've already shared how I
I
feel
know,
about them.
right? We're a little more masculine on the hands here.
We'll get
Yeah.
there. We'll get there. Absolutely, we'll get there.
Yes.
So Maddy, with all the experience that you have, what are your top 3 tips to the room today and our listeners later?
Top 3 tips. Let's see here. Top 3 tips is kind of what I shared before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're good at the skill, then go for it. When you have a business opportunity, go for it. Be prepared and make sure you negotiate right. If that's not a skill of yours, because everybody is so different and nobody faults you for not having every single skill there is.
Yeah.
You, like the people's publicist, she's excellent at being a publicist, right?
Mm-hmm.
But is she a business dev strategist like myself? No. So we can each utilize each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you are not good at negotiations, partner with someone, work with someone, figure out how you can
I
negotiate that person like
mm-hmm.
myself, and I'll be more than happy to help you get a win-win. Now, one thing is, these partnerships are so great to have. I
Mm-hmm.
This is what I do for a living, and this is what I've been able to do behind the scenes and in front of scenes in this
Mm-hmm.
environment, in this community. Feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Awesome. I love that. I mean, this is something that Leroy and myself have said so many times
Yeah,
to communities in past as well. Build a team around you. You can't be expert in everything.
that's
So if
right.
negotiation is what you're looking for, if you are out there sort of settling agreements, if you're wanting you know have success with partnerships, etc. Maddie's here. Maddie will help you out with it. This girl's got years and years of experience sitting
I
behind her
do.
doing this successfully every single day. So even if it is just kind of grabbing some time to kind of just go, Maddie, I've got this coming up, I'm thinking this is how I'm prepping for it, what's your experience in this, should I be doing more of this or less of that? And all of those conversations will help you develop as a good negotiator, but also you're able to take an SME along with you, and that you cannot put money on, because
That's right.
that's
If
going
you
to
said
result in
that,
partnerships.
yeah, if you said that to me right there, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to dive right in. It's going to take me 15 to 30 minutes to figure out what we're really looking at, how we can strategize, what it looks like to partner with you, because my goal is always to help you reach your goal. And then that costs money. And I usually tack those costs on with how I increase that negotiation, whether it
Yeah.
be more or
Mm-hmm.
financial gain.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for all of your gems so far. Now, you're enjoying listening to today's conversation and want to dive even deeper into the art of negotiation, then I have something special for you this month. On October 30th at 7 p.m. EST is the Viva Masterclass, a 90 minutes masterclass on the power of negotiation, giving you a negotiator's toolbox. It's going to be packed with actionable tools and strategies that you can start using immediately. So if you're interested, then the Viva shop is open. You can add the Viva Masterclass to your cart. You will get an email and you'll be able to book onto it. For all the ladies, because I know how important negotiation skills are for women to succeed in market, in everyday life, personal, professionally, then I'm giving 50% off my masterclass this month to encourage all you ladies to go and really achieve your full potential when it comes to negotiation, because we know from facts that women in terms of negotiation are always approaching this in a way where investors, we are not always getting the right investment back into our pockets. We are not necessarily taking those conversations further out, or like Maddy was saying, sometimes you see a barrier, you see a blocker. We need to break through those barriers and those blockers as well. So come along to the masterclass, learn those skills, and be able to apply them immediately afterwards. Now,
Can I
Maddy,
can I add that I'd
go
like to
on.
throw
Of course you
something in
can.
for you? I'm going to throw a little gem here for you guys. I'd like to sponsor a winner. How about this? You have a YouTube channel. I got to check it out today. I'm going to subscribe as soon as we're off here and make sure I watch my show with you.
Awesome.
I'd like to sponsor someone for that Viva Masterclass. In fact, make that two people. I'll take you up on that 50%. I want to sponsor two
Fabulous.
people for the Viva Masterclass, which happens in workrooms. Is that right?
That's right. It does. Yes.
Yes. And in order to get in that masterclass, go to Viva. What was it? The Viva Coach Experience on YouTube, and subscribe. Viva will tell me two people who have subscribed, and I will pay for your masterclass this
Wow.
round.
This is amazing. Thank you so much, Maddy. Thank you so much. That is going to make such a difference to those two individuals. And look, these masterclasses are designed in a way so that you can start applying skills as soon as you leave that room. In fact, we start applying them during the session. And I know, Maddy, you've been in those masterclasses as
I
well. So
love
you,
content,
you, you can
everyone.
talk to that. Yes,
I've been
absolutely.
to every single one. I'm really proud of how Viva has come into this space, and she has sharing her wealth of knowledge, and it's working. It's helping people. It's helping me. I didn't really think I was going to share too much of my personal, IRL life. I was just going to be the Maddy and you got to figure it out for yourself. But, I've really enjoyed the master classes. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
They're
Thank
extremely
you for
informative. They
being
really
there.
are.
It's all those that attend that make the masterclasses a success, and I just absolutely love delivering them because again, they're just such great conversations, and we just have really honest conversations, and everyone's learning journey is different, and we respect that and work with that, and I just absolutely really really do enjoy that. Right now, so every time we do this podcast, we have a section on rapid fire. And this is one of my favorites and my audience as well. So the feedback tells me they absolutely love listening in when we do rapid fire round. So I've got just a few questions, Maddy. Rapid fire. So just respond as
Yep.
quickly as you can. Just sort from, how you feel about these questions. Just short, fun questions your
Okay,
way. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Best negotiation tactic in one word.
Confidence.
Love it. Biggest deal you've ever closed.
Ooh, 50 million.
Oh, wow. Nice one.
Oh
What's
yeah,
more
I've got the
powerful?
proof. If anybody wants
Uh-huh.
to see it, like I work with high-end businesses. I got the receipts, but like I don't want to, you don't want to be like, look what I can do. You know what I
The
mean?
fact that you said it, you have so much credibility. I don't need to see your proof. You are Maddy. I believe everything
Right.
you're saying. What's more powerful, silence or persuasion?
Say the second word, preservation, preservation.
Okay. You do to prepare for a negotiation.
Research.
Love it. Okay. One negotiation mistake you've learned the hard way.
Talk too much.
hmm Deal breaker or deal maker? Compromise.
Uh, Deal maker and compromise. I mean, gosh, that's a hard one. So I'd say compromise.
Okay. One book or a resource you would recommend for negotiation.
That's a hard one because I haven't read anything for a really long
Viva
time.
Masterclass. Viva Masterclass.
Viva Masterclass.
Oh, love it. Brilliant, brilliant. Well, look, if you were to choose between negotiation or something else, what would that be?
Oh, goodness. There is nothing else. I'm naturally really good at this.
Oh,
I
love it.
have so much experience that takes so many years of gaining. And, my peers don't call me money making Maddy for nothing.
Love it. Money making Maddy, MMM. I love that. And what is one challenge you will give to the audience today after this podcast to go and do on negotiation?
Find something that you really want to do here in this space. Find out what it is that you need to do to get there. Put all the pieces together and find ways to make it happen. And if you need support, gather a team. There's great people on here that are willing to support you and help you and collaborate with you. Collaboration really is what is number one in this space. Find amazing people to collaborate with. And every single time you collaborate with someone, it's an emotional connection to them. It
Mhm.
builds, everything around you is who you are and makes your character. Natural circumstances circumstances that you involve yourself into. When you involve yourself with a partnership with someone, you are now inviting them into this emotional space of yours. And, that is a whole nother realm. So
Yeah.
remember that every partnership, negotiation, and collaboration you have with someone makes you who you are.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Love it. And is there anything, Maddy, that you wanted to share tonight that I may have not covered and you want to
Did I
share with
not
our
just
audience?
lay it all on the line? No, no, you know what? I'm having fun. I'm having fun in this space. That's it.
Oh.
I'm excited about what we're about to do with the Billionaire Club and VR Vibes and,
Mm-hmm.
Stark approved. And, I've got some really good partnerships going on in here with, GDUCE, the Virtual Women Alliance, and yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy,
Oh, that's brilliant.
happiness.
Always
Happiness is
pushing those
everything.
positive vibes out there. I'm telling you, Maddie, that makes, well, it makes a huge difference for someone who may not
Yes.
be having an amazing day to kind of just, interact with you on social media or in this space, puts a smile on their face. I know it does on mine. So thank you so
Thank
much for being
you.
you, Maddie,
Thank
and never,
you.
never stop being yourself.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much for being on this podcast. You've been a very special guest. I've been waiting all
Mm,
these months and topics
I
to come
know.
to this topic and work with you on negotiation. You are an absolute
Yeah.
gem, full of insight, full of so much to share in this space.
Thank
And
you.
I really look forward to having you back on my Viva Talk panel along
Me
with other experts as well.
too.
I think
I
that's going to
can't
be awesome. That is
wait.
next Wednesday on 23rd of October. As per usual, it'll be a panel of 4 experts and we'll be talking all things negotiation once again, but with different lens depending on who's on our panel. Thank you so much, Maddie. Everyone, let's give Maddie a whole load of confetti because she has been so, so great and sharing everything with us,
Thank you
IRL
so
and
much, you
Metaverse.
guys. Thank you so
Our
much for
pleasure.
everyone who's here. Please make sure to share the YouTube. I'm about to share it. I'm excited. Thank you.
Fabulous, fabulous. So this is being recorded by Stark Approved Events. Absolutely amazing services. Thank you so much, Tony. If you are interested to do the same for your event, then please do reach out to Tony. We will be posting this on YouTube, like Maddy suggested. If you haven't subscribed, please go along and subscribe and be in a chance of a spot on Viva Masterclass. Once
That's
again,
right.
happening on 30th of October, 7 p.m. EST in Horizon Workrooms. Get yourself your negotiation toolbox ready to absolutely embark on any of those agreements that you want to put out there and partnerships that you want to put in place. Thank you so much. This is the Viva Coach signing off. Please do stay back. Absolutely have a networking session with each other. The Viva shop, like I said before, is open as well. It's a great piece of technology too. So test it out, see what you think, and let's get a photo done before we all go. What do you
Yes,
think, Maddie?
please. Let's do a photo. Yes.
Let's do it. Let's do that outside. Thank you so